Joe Rogan had this bit, and I forget which special it was on. It was on Netflix though. But he does this bit where he talks about how if like the founding fathers of the U.S. could come back and look at what's going on right now, be like, you guys didn't change any of this shit. We wrote this down with a feather.
It's true, though.
It's so true. Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of the Exordia Creative Podcast. I hope you're having a fantastic Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, your hair light is totally down, but that's okay. We're just going to roll with the punches here. Yeah.
Didn't even know I had a hair light.
What's good?
We're chilling.
We're
it's a
chilling.
good day to have a good day.
It's a good day to have a good day. And guess what, guys? It's election week. And I know it does matter a little bit if you're Canadian. Not nearly as much in the U.S.
Matters a ton.
Sure. So it's election week. Tomorrow's the election. By the time you're listening to this, it could be happening right now. Could be talking about it. Could be on the news. So crazy times.
I wanted to ask you, what happens on election night? Right, because I don't understand.
This year's going to be especially different because of the mail-in ballot situation.
Right.
So not all of the ballots are going to be counted. So we may not know who's going to be the next president of the United States. So typically what happens, we'll find out really late. Same as in Canada.
Yeah.
It's just typically late in the night. So I don't know. This is a new precedent for sure.
Yeah. What percentage of the ballots to be counted do you think are going to be mail-in?
That is a great question. I don't know.
I know, they announce the traditional ballots for some of the states.
Yeah.
I Googled it and I saw like a timeline where throughout the night at different times they announce some of the results, but like how indicative is that going to be?
We'll find out. I'm excited to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens. This has definitely been an insane year for an election. Watched with the one debate, some of the other one, the highlights. We'll see. Two really bad options. See what happens.
That's your official take.
Those are the two best options that the United States could come up with.
Yeah.
Pretty pathetic.
So do all the states announce the count that night?
Well, with the mail-in ballots, I have no clue.
But did they announce the traditional ones at least?
Typically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember I was in U.S. politics, the class in university when the 2016 election was going on.
Yeah.
And, universities and colleges and stuff, they tend to sway a little bit left.
Right.
And my professor was like, there's absolutely no way that Donald Trump's going to become president, like blah, blah, blah. It was just insane. We spent the next 2 weeks just debriefing on how it happened and all that kind of stuff.
It was so unbelievable at the time.
It did seem so unbelievable.
Yeah.
It did. So it's real.
He was, what's it called? He got the unpopular vote, like less than half the votes.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy system.
Yeah. The Electoral College really does decide. So we'll see.
What do you think about the Electoral College system and how that works?
How
would you set it up if you had your own country?
See, even Canada's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But I kind of get it because you're not directly voting for the person, you're voting for the party. I think the whole party system is kind of weird. I think the whole political system across the entire North America is weird. Now, actually, I don't know about Mexico, so I don't want to touch on that. Sure. But I feel like we need and that's something Justin Trudeau talked about when he was reelected, was that he's going to do electoral reform and blah, 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 blah. We're probably not going to see it.
Well, they talk about it in America, too.
Yeah.
Right? Republicans, Democrats.
Yeah.
They all say they're against the Electoral College.
There's so much that has to be changed, right? Like we've talked about the SEC regulations and stuff for like Facebook and all that stuff. We have to bring that up to speed. We got to bring the Electoral College up to speed.
I don't even think the authorities that are going to regulate like social media even exist yet.
Exactly. It's crazy. So I think we're going to see a lot of remodeling happening in our lifetime, which will be interesting to watch and unfold. And I think it's going to be really cool to be a part of that history and see how it all unfolds.
Yeah, that's a totally separate issue, like humane use of social media and how to regulate those platforms and which content can be shown.
Yeah.
We talked last week about the New York Post article being blocked from Twitter for a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's like a minute example of some of like the swaying.
Yeah.
So to speak, that goes on social media.
Yeah. Let's talk about this really quickly.
Yeah.
So this is directly happening to us as far as advertising goes. And I'm not sure specifically how I feel about this, but we can't run ads with any guns involved. So we have a few clients that sell firearms at their stores.
Right.
And a lot of the time, especially during hunting season, they want to promote that kind of stuff. But Facebook will not let us run ads with photos of guns, with videos of guns and things like that. It gets flagged every single time.
Yeah.
And like, where is the line? Because I totally understand that guns in some cases, they're used for violence and things like that. But on the other hand, a lot of these people are using guns and firearms for hunting and for practical use.
Of course, yeah.
So where do we draw that line, and how is that going to pan out when we do decide on regulation? Are we going to be allowed to do that? Like I don't know.
I think just for cost saving, it's cheaper for Facebook to say no than to define that line and spend time and energy sifting through the ads and approving what use of gun content is appropriate and what's legal, what's not legal. I think it's just easier for them to say no.
Yeah. Do you agree with it though?
If I were running a business and my number one prerogative was to increase value for my shareholders, then I would understand the economic incentive of just choosing to ban it. But I totally agree with you. There are a lot of healthy, normal uses for firearms, like leisure activity and whatever else that I've got no problem with.
Yeah.
But it is a slippery slope.
I wonder what they would do if we ran an ad for a bow and arrow.
I think that's included in.
You think that's included?
Yeah.
It's a weapon? Yeah.
Yeah. But even like defining the parameters, it gets tricky because what about a kitchen knife?
Yeah.
Right.
A kitchen knife versus, well, can we run pocket knives?
What could you not kill somebody with?
Yeah.
You could be murdered by a can of bubbly, really.
Yeah, you could. If you shake this puppy up enough and you decide to open it, boof.
It's an interesting conversation. Like, how do we define what's a weapon?
Mm-hmm.
Anything can be used as a weapon.
Yeah. Anything can be. Anyway.
I know Facebook employs buildings of people that just sift through content that's been flagged.
Yeah.
When it gets past the bot stage to the human stage where they have to moderate. And just imagine having a job like that.
Yeah.
Where you just have to watch like violent, inappropriate, horrible videos and
that's your
all
job.
day.
You do that for 8 hours a day. That'd be brutal.
Couldn't think of a worse thing to do for your sanity or mental health.
No. Yeah. Crazy.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll see what happens on the election tomorrow night. And as it unfolds, people are saying Trump's going to, if he doesn't win, he's going to be denouncing the results. He's going to launch an investigation into it. So we'll see what happens. Hoping to get some entertainment out of it. And this is a great segue into our next topic, which is the markets and investing and things like that.
Very frothy right now.
Very frothy. And I'm sure it does have something to do with the election tomorrow.
Of course it does, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's kind of up in the air. They're like, okay, polls are saying Biden's in the lead. Polls are saying this. Polls are saying that. So everybody's kind of like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, so
financial markets don't like uncertainty.
No.
Right? So we see this before every election.
Mm-hmm.
October is statistically a bad month for financial markets.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird. I'm not even sure the rationale behind that.
Yeah. Q4 getting to the end of the year. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's not that one candidate is going to be completely worse for financial markets than the other. It's just what kind of industries and what kind of sectors are going to be impacted. Yeah. You see like somebody like Trump who spends very minimally, who says he's going to spend very minimally and give businesses bigger breaks so they can pass that on to their investors in terms of, dividends and payouts and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Then you have somebody who's completely on the other side of the spectrum, Biden, who has like really lofty plans for infrastructure and education and healthcare. And I think those are important things, but we have, like two polar opposites campaigning about what we think is important. Yeah. What they say that can be taken as face value and what they'll actually do, who knows? But it's really interesting. Financial markets have been great while Trump's been in office. Yep. The degree that's coincidental, who knows? There's so many factors at play. But it'll be interesting. Like we were talking about Tesla before the show started, and Biden has big plans for subsidizing renewable energy. So that could be a beneficiary of a Biden office.
Mm-hmm. Everybody gets a Tesla.
Right.
You get a Tesla. You get a Tesla. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Whereas Trump, he more adamantly defends like non-renewable energy.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Oh, Biden's gonna cut jobs out of coal,
fracking, and
we have the cleanest coal in the world, and
yeah,
this and that.
Clean coal, baby."
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, markets dislike uncertainty.
Yeah. So that's what's going on then.
There's gonna be a few interesting swing states that might be cool to watch on election night. It's the 3rd, right?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, like Michigan and Ohio. Florida's another big one.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to know the degree that are going to be mail-in and what's going to be determined on election night.
Yeah.
Because maybe it will be a closed case.
Yeah.
Even though we won't officially get a verdict, maybe just based on the numbers, it could be more or less like a sure thing.
You know what's funny? I saw this. I've seen it. I've seen it all over the internet actually. Mm-hmm. You know how people, influencers and just people in general,
yeah,
when they put on their Instagram or they put on their Instagram stories like get out and vote.
Right.
What percentage of the time are they Republican versus Democrat? Because like most of the time it's the Democrats saying get out and vote, get out and vote.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
It's almost like if you say get out and vote, everybody knows where you stand.
That's true. You know, I think probably the side that's more interested in the votes of the disenfranchised or people who might not already be voting by default would be like Democrat leaning as opposed to Republican leaning.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Even the party system. Yeah. To go back to what you said, in an ideal world, what would you want to do? Just scrap the whole thing. The 2-party system, even in Canada, there's really 2, maybe 3 if you want to count the NDP.
Sure. And
And it's just this weird, bloated organization. Like, it's just not what it was originally intended for. And Joe Rogan had this bit, and I forget which special it was on. It was on Netflix though. But he does this bit where he talks about how if like the founding fathers of the U.S. could come back and look at what's going on right now, be like, you guys didn't change any of this shit. We wrote this down with a feather.
It's true though.
It's so true.
Man, I've never seen his stand up.
Oh, dude.
That's
so
funny.
his latest one's pretty funny, but he's like, you guys didn't change anything?
No kidding.
What are you doing?
Yeah, we talk about that, with the antitrust hearing.
Yeah.
And with these tech regulations.
And we just hold it as if it's like this like you can't change anything. It's like this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. We can't do anything else.
Yeah. And to dare to question anything would be unconstitutional.
It's so weird.
Some people understand it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you ever do watch Joe Rogan, it's funny. He yells throughout the entire spell. Like he's yelling everything he says. It's very funny.
Yeah.
His later stuff's funny.
Huh.
So anyway, yeah.
It's just it's a crazy concept. Like the notion of having a presidential figure at all.
Mm-hmm.
Does the most powerful nation in the world need a cheerleader?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's weird. The whole thing is weird.
What?
I wonder if in our lifetime, if it's ever going to change, even in Canada, if we're going to see some kind of major thing where we're like, hey, we don't need one dude, we don't need one lady telling the world how we're doing and being our cheerleader, basically.
Like, is it for morale?
I don't know. And here's the other thing: when the president and the prime minister first, like the positions were first born, smaller populations, right?
Sure.
Much smaller populations.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was founded a long time ago when the populations were maybe in the tens of thousands, 100,000s. People were like, okay, this is our leader. But now, dude, you've got 360 million people plus in the U.S.
Right.
How on earth are they going to do what's right for everybody and like listen to everybody? It just doesn't work. So what I like when I learned about U.S. politics in university was running it state by state or even more hyper locally, municipality by municipality.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very interesting way to do it, because you can better serve the views and the ideas of 100,000 people even.
Yeah.
You know?
That's interesting. There must be some better way to tally it up. Like the fact like a swing state like Florida, where we could see a 51-49 vote. And if Trump has 51% of the votes, that completely eliminates any credibility Biden had in the state.
Yeah.
Like, is that the best way to do it?
No.
You know, are those 49% of the population just a moot point because Trump got the majority?
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy. We're just spitballing ideas, guys.
It just seems like oxymoronic to me.
Yeah.
That to win the unpopular vote. You know, that's a strange concept. The fact that you can win having less votes.
What would you do?
You know, I don't know.
Somebody gives Jared the key to figure out all of North America's politics.
You know, to make a decision as monumental as that, you'd have to.
We're just spitballing.
You'd have to invest. You know, my official answer would be I would do my best diligence.
You sound like a politician.
To recruit the right people.
This guy's not the guy, guys.
who know way more than I do. Who have invested, a lot more time and experience into doing something like this to come up with a better system.
Yeah.
Put very simply, popular vote seems like a nice place to start.
Sure. Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't love some of the principles of the Electoral College, but like it's a monumental decision and it should be like rigorously studied.
I totally agree. I'm just talking in hypotheticals.
Yeah. The popular vote seems like a nice place to start. You know, perhaps some kind of like competence and maybe IQ test.
Yep.
To just set a certain threshold before you even campaign.
Health test, all that.
You know, and anything.
Yeah.
I think there's a minimum age.
Drug test.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe a maximum age.
Yeah.
You know, just prove some level of competence before you're even given the chance.
Yeah.
And then maybe prove some level of competence before you're even given the opportunity to vote.
Yeah.
That's another aspect.
Yeah.
You know, that's a pretty polarizing stance. But
that is a polarizing stance. But
should everybody get the right to vote?
Some people have talked about increasing the voting age. Some people have talked about bringing it down. I don't know, man. When I was 19, I think you have to be 18 in Canada. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
No.
You know, I still voted, but I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
You know, you look at where you are now, even from then, we're 24, like shit's changed. So
like you want to make the playing field even enough that you're not setting up barriers to prevent certain cohorts from voting. But a lot of people do make like uneducated decisions. I made horrible decisions.
Same.
When I was younger. So and then that's only one variable is age, right? Like there are people who just aren't mentally sound who have a say.
Yeah.
Right? Is that fair?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night.
Yeah. It's already tomorrow.
Or today if you're watching this now. Cool.
Feels like November 1st, but it's the 2nd. It
does feel like November 1st. How was your Halloween?
It was pretty fun. Chill.
Cool.
What about yours?
Went bowling.
It's not very Halloween.
It's pretty Halloween. So
did you win?
There was some really cool when I was driving. I was in the office on Saturday night, I think it was.
Okay.
Until we went bowling. And I was driving home, and obviously people are like trick-or-treating and stuff. Right. And some of the cool ways that people were distributing candy was really funny. A lot of people had like chutes. Some people just had a bowl in their front yard. Sarah and I went with the bowl in our front yard. There wasn't nearly the amount of trick-or-treaters that I thought there was going to be. We still had like half a bowl of candy, which is dangerous.
I heard mixed reviews about some of the traffic.
Yeah.
Somebody told me that their parents estimated around 200 kids came.
That's a lot of kids.
Actually, near our office, near Victoria.
That's a lot of kids.
Yeah. And then I talked to some people who said that they barely saw anybody. So
Interesting.
I think maybe there was more flocking to like the main areas.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. No, it's good. Did some 10-pin bowling. Bowling's a little bit underrated. I mean, especially with there's nothing really going on. Like there's no events going on. There's nothing really to look forward to on like a larger scale. And bowling's just fun. We did some 10-pin. Had a good time. The Exordia sweater looks really sick under neon.
Really? That's awesome.
I'm actually wearing a 1 of 1 right now. This is a crew neck.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah.
So what kind of Halloween candy did you get?
Oh, dude. Sarah bought it.
What kind?
I felt so bad.
Because you guys are doing you're still on the 30-day fitness plan?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Dude,
You can tell a lot about somebody by what kind of pack they buy and also what they go for in the pack.
Bro. I should have bought the candy.
What did she buy?
Poor kids.
Did you buy some nonsense?
She did.
Sarah.
What? Okay, ready? Wonder Bar?
I'm judging. I don't even know. Dude, Wonder Bar is insanely good.
No, dog. Wonder Bar, Twix, Mr.
I love it.
Mr. Big,
Those are good.
regular M&Ms.
That's not a bad pack.
Where are the Reese's? Where are the Snickers?
Okay. Let me break it down.
What are we do? Where are the peanut M&Ms, babe?
The standard issue, we're talking about the Nestle pack. Kit Kat, Smarties, Coffee Crisp, Aero. You
Bingo.
know it. You've seen it. You
Bingo.
loved it. You tried them all.
Great.
If you like the it's acceptable. It's like an A-, B+ kind of.
What are you about to rate this candy that I just said?
That one I think is pretty good. I personally would choose that over some of the ones in the Nestle pack. As far as I'm concerned, Smarties, that's weird if you like Smarties.
Yeah, kind of whack.
Coffee Crisp is underrated. Aero is solid. Kit Kat is God tier. That's the highest tier.
Yeah. I remember you used to rip Kit Kats. You
That's
used to
one
be
of
a Kit Kat guy.
It's one of my favorite chocolate bars.
Yeah.
But I will say, however, there's one elusive pack with the Mars bars in it. And that's the best one.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I think that has Reese's in it too.
It has Snickers in it, but the Mars come in a separate bag within the pack because they don't
Okay.
want to mix, because Mars doesn't have peanuts. Right?
Okay.
So there's no peanuts in there.
Gotcha.
But dude, those peanut M&Ms with the Snickers and all that.
But undisputed,
Reese's Cups.
the best chocolate bar, Reese. Anything Reese.
100%. 100%.
That's why our company color is orange.
Anyway, felt bad for the kids. Maybe that's why we have half a bowl left.
I'm surprised somebody didn't just like.
Me
go
too.
and
Great
swipe
honor
it all.
system. Great honor system.
Mm.
We can talk about, we got the election.
What's your favorite? Is it Reese?
Definitely, hands down.
Yeah, 100%.
Hands down. So,
The Reese M&Ms kind of weird.
yeah.
Never really got into those.
Yeah.
But just the classic 3-pack
Yeah.
or the 2 big in 1 pack.
Yeah.
That's another sleeper.
What's new with Exordia? We started working with a real estate agent,
Yes. Shout out to Realty House,
Scott Herman. What's
local
popping?
brokerage in town.
So that's exciting. We've been wanting to work with a realtor for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see how it goes. I'm excited.
Yeah, we
Got
just
some
started.
fun ideas.
Just started yesterday, so
Yeah.
we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. So shout out to Scott.
Mm.
Did a little bit of Pokemon hunting this weekend.
Right.
Got to catch them all.
Yes.
Um,
Got to catch most.
yeah, I'm still liking it. And like you and I, we were talking about
It's
this
fun.
again before the podcast.
It's fun.
It's fun. It's a fun way. It's a fun way to invest.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you one card. I picked up this guy this weekend. If you guys know anything about Pokemon, this is a brand new Charizard, the Charizard VMAX. And I got it in a big pack. I bought a big pack, gambling to get this specific card, and I pulled it. So I was really excited about that.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, dude. What a crazy time. This piece of cardboard is worth money, which is funny. Anyway.
That's like a
Pokemon's fun.
recurring theme. We keep talking about the alternative investments and
Yeah, well, when the markets are looking like they're looking, I'll just
What's
keep
going
buying
on?
these guys.
yeah,
You know?
we see what's going on. We see it in our business.
Yeah.
People have a lot more capital to deploy than they usually do right now. And we're talking about how one of the main indicators of the Great Recession some 10 years ago was people getting approved for credit and for mortgages that they wouldn't normally be approved for.
Yeah.
And you'd see people buying second and third homes, and it was starting to get a little weird. We're seeing some asset prices go up like that, which is a little concerning.
Yeah.
I found out recently that the price of gold is the highest it's been since the late 70s. The highest it's been in real terms.
Yeah.
In nominal terms, it's much higher now. But that's interesting because I think in 1971 was when the US dollar went off the gold standard. And as soon as that happened, gold for the next 10 years just skyrocketed. But in real dollars, it's worth just as much today.
Yeah.
which says something about like uncertainty in the markets and people looking to diversify somewhere else.
Yeah. I was talking to my friend
Mm-hmm.
who does a lot of investing. He did some investing for me a little while ago. And I was talking to him about gold. And I'm like, I know people that buy physical gold. I know people that buy gold ETFs and stuff like that,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah. What do you think? And he had an interesting perspective. I know what your perspective is, but he doesn't hold any actual real gold because trying to liquidate that is too difficult. So he told me just to go the road of just buying the ETFs. I don't know if your opinion's changed on how you stand, but I do wonder about that. What are we doing? Are we just buying little gold coins and like keeping them, and then hopefully one day somebody buys them? Like, I don't know.
Well, I think there's a solid argument to be made for both sides. First of all, you gotta make sure we're comparing apples to apples. So like, if you buy physical gold, first of all, you can cuddle it and you can store it in your home, and you have it and you know it's not going anywhere.
Yep.
It's much less liquid.
Yeah.
There are some, not to incriminate myself, but there are some tax incentives to buying physical gold, and I'll just leave it right at that.
Leave it right there.
You have to pay a production cost for somebody to mill the gold and for somebody to stamp it into a little gold coin and.
Do you have like a little gold coin?
And travel it. I own some physical gold. They come in little bars.
That would be so fun for a prop for the podcast one time.
I should have brought one.
You should bring one sometime.
Okay, I will. Yeah, they're just like tiny little bars, and they're encased in like a little plastic that's certified by some kind of mint. Or,
PSA?
Or yeah, essentially, or whatever it is. You'd be less tempted to liquidate it, which is nice. If you're comparing it to an ETF that just mirrors the price of gold, then I'd consider that a one-to-one comparison.
Yeah.
It gets tricky because you can invest in a gold mining operation.
Mm-hmm.
There's different ETFs with different forms of leverage and different forms of exposure. I think the liquidity is nice. You can easily sell it. I know some people who do 50-50. They hold, let's say, 50% of their gold holdings physical, other 50% digitally, so they can liquidate.
Yeah.
And they can kind of keep rebalancing your portfolio.
Right now, I just have one ETF, I believe, in gold. And then I've got that mining company too.
Right, I know you.
Which is my best performing one right now, dude.
Mm-hmm.
When all of the rest of all this stuff is just like, we don't know what's going on. Everybody's like, mining.
Well, it just goes to show, right? Like,
Yeah.
when there's uncertainty in the market,
Yeah.
Where does it fluctuate?
That and Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola's been doing pretty well
Really?
too. Yeah.
Into like alternative assets.
Yeah.
Gold being a huge one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like to keep, let's just say, a couple percent of my entire net worth in gold.
Cool.
And, if my net worth drastically changes, then I might buy some or sell some. But
Yeah.
otherwise, I like to have a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Cool.
talking about some other stuff that you wanted to get invested in, like Tesla.
Yeah.
I
You made a really good point like a week ago. And you guys, if you're not into this investing stuff, we're going to keep talking about it just so you know. Like, anyway.
This was at our buddy's engagement.
Yeah. I
Talking
mean,
about this.
I own some oil and gas and stuff like that. And then you said this statement, which is like, that's kind of living in the past. Like, where are we moving forward? Like, are these gas stocks, are they going to last? Do you see them lasting a long time? And, like maybe they will exist, but they're not going to be growing like the renewable energy stuff. So eventually I'm going to get rid of all that. And then I'll probably just sink it all into like the Teslas and the different solar companies and stuff like that. Maybe some wind. I don't know.
I'm not an expert. I can't say that.
No, you're not, but it makes a lot of sense. It's a logical thing to say.
I guess the way that I look at it is
the world is not moving back to gas.
Right.
You know,
in my opinion, an industry like that is only going to get more regulated.
Yeah.
And only going to get more tariffed and only going to get harder to turn a profit in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you can't make a lot of money in the short term.
No, yeah.
And these companies, because they don't have growth as a prospect, they tend to hold you captive with nice dividend payouts.
And that has been
stuff
nice.
like that.
You get the dividends and stuff, but.
And there's a point for that in your portfolio.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to take like an ethical stance, but my general rule is I like to invest in things that are more likely to Everything okay?
Yeah, everything's okay. Sorry, guys. I was getting a phone call, and it was important, but it's all good. Sorry. You like to invest in things?
Yeah, I like to look at industries that have more potential for growth.
Yeah.
You know, EVs are a great one.
Yeah.
I think that's a good bipartisan industry to get in, because Trump is going to be helping huge businesses like Tesla with tax incentives, but Biden is also looking to subsidize EV and renewable energy stuff. So I think that'd be like a safe hold going into the election.
Yeah,
I recently invested in a company that I've had my eye on for a while now called NIO, which is like a Chinese EV. Okay. And they're slated to become like the Chinese Tesla.
Yeah, man. There's not just going to be one Tesla in this market.
I've really been moving a lot of money to China in the last couple months now.
What do you think of the Hummer EV? Did you ever take a look at that thing?
I don't care.
You don't care?
No.
Because it's GM?
To be honest, if you're not dropping everything you're doing and aggressively switching your business model to EV, I'm going to go with the people who are doing that.
100%. I agree. But I'm saying more from just like a look at it. Like, what do you think of it?
I haven't seen it in a while. I think I did see a picture. Like, it looks cool to me. I don't know if I'd ever drive one. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
I'd have to see. Yeah, I don't know.
There is a little Cybertruck vibe to it a little bit.
Oh, really?
Like, they didn't go with like a standard look.
I think that's a crazy looking car too.
Yeah. No, I agree with your statement though. Like, if you're not going all in on EVs, like you're still like kind of just dipping your toe in, like you're not going to win. Yeah. In the EV market, you're just not going to.
The CEO of Volkswagen has made some pretty big statements about how they anticipate they're going to endure like some 5 to 10 years of, painful financial results to kind of reinvigorate and
what do you think about
turn
that?
Into an EV.
Do you think that's smart?
Yeah,
you have to do it.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, like, if a company like Ford says EV is the way, internal combustion engine vehicles are dead, then that's going to cannibalize a lot of their sales. Yeah. And they can't afford to do that. Yeah. I think you have to go through that super painful transition. Yeah. If you want any chance of longevity.
It would have been insane if they made that Ford Bronco an EV as well. Holy.
Yeah. It's really tough.
What do they have? They have the Mach-E right now, right?
Yeah. Like, look at it like this way. Do you know any horse and buggy companies that successfully survived the transition to ICE? No. No, we don't know any that make cars now. No. So that's something kind of cool to think about.
That is something cool to think about. Yeah. Interesting.
China has the biggest EV market in the world. Yeah. And they've got tons of companies. The quality is what it is, but what's really cool about NIO is they're backed by the Chinese government, which says, heaps and bounds. And Tesla does have a factory in Shanghai, but they've recently, China's recently rolled out a new subsidy where you're given a certain tax break and a certain discount on non-luxury electric vehicles, which they define as vehicles that cost less than like $45,000. And the only exception is if the vehicles have a swappable battery. And basically what they've done is they've exempt Tesla buyers from getting the incentive to sway them toward NIO. Yeah. So if you're looking to get into another EV company, I think NIO's pretty cool. Cool. Yeah. Cool. I've been really going crazy on some Chinese companies lately. So much uncertainty. I'm trying to
spread your eggs out. Yeah. Spread your eggs out. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. And like I said, a few months back, Jared and I talked about how we want to just talk about what we want to talk about. And we want you guys to better get to know us. We have a meeting today, and the person that we were meeting with, she said that she found our podcast and she was listening and watching to our podcast, and it really helped her understand kind of who we are, because we just like shooting the shit and talking about what we want to talk about. So that's not going to change. We do like to throw in some marketing stuff, but anyway, thank you always for watching, listening, and subscribing, and we will see you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.